Dorsey. We should have kept Dorsey. We should have kept Elliott Wolf. Folks, Brian Gutekunst, in his second year, has us in the playoffs in Week 15. Week 15, we
I
have a
was a
playoff spot
huge
locked up.
Elliott Wolf fan. I think Elliott Wolf would have
I
been a
was
very
too,
great GM too, but it does.
I learned that
like,
Gutekunst was
stop.
a Ron Wolf disciple, so I love
Yes,
that.
they both were. That's the problem.
Elliott
here,
is
people
from the
are-
loins, but I mean, but we don't
He-
know how he would have done though. That's the thing. We don't know
We don't know.
what
We didn't
his
know how Brian was going to do. Nobody knew.
after his
got-
first draft and free
like-
agency. I kind of knew.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Dave, like, there shouldn't be any reservations about this guy at this point. He's done his job, and
Oh,
it
I
is
agree.
what it is. I mean,
I definitely agree.
we don't need to
But-
have hindsight that we should have or could have anything at this point. I think that's being
Well, a lot of Packers fans still do that, and we're 11-3. That's what I don't get. But anyways, moving on to good news. I'm not going to get the negatives.
Yep.
I just found Adams had a stellar day.
Yes, he did.
At 100, let's see, he had 103 yards, 7 catches, and 1 touchdown. And the touchdown came on 4th down, which I'm going to transition to this. I just found a stat. Another category Devontae Adams leads in. Devontae Adams leads in 4th down stats for wide receivers since 2017. Jay, did you hear that year, 2017? Who did he have for QB that year in 2017 after Rodgers went down?
Brett Hundley.
And these are his numbers on 4th down with Brett Hundley and Aaron Rodgers. 13 targets, 9 receptions, 144 yards, 3 touchdowns on 4th downs. Adams has like this kill mode in 4th down. Like, it's like Rodgers. If you watch the pass he put up to Adams today, he literally just threw it up and let Adams go get it. Adams in 4th down is just in kill mode. I love it. Also,
Yes.
too, another narrative I've been seeing that was mentioned on Hallis Hall Brawl that Jay brought up to my attention of Adrian Amos and Clinton Dix are equal now. No, they aren't. Let me go over the stats today real quick. I saw it on the play in the field. I watched Amos bury a lot of plays before the line of scrimmage. Let me go ahead and get to this. So let's go to Clinton Dix's stat page real quick, folks. One total tackle. No tackles for losses, no sacks, no interceptions, no passes defended, no forced fumbles, nothing. Then I go back to the Packers sheet, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of Adrian Amos. 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 passes defended.
Huh. What do you know?
I'm sorry. Adrian Amos is the better signing here. We watched it on the Jones touchdown run. His first one, when he bounced to the outside, where the hell was He didn't give Eddie any support when he crashed inside. None.
Okay, I said it again. I said it when Austin was on Friday night. What happened this year, the difference between and Amos. Is what he is. He's average to sometimes above average, and then he has a few flashes here and there. That's it. He's in his 7th year now. That's what he is. Amos is in his 5th year.
7th. I think Ha's in his 6th, right?
No, this is
Yeah,
his
we had-
7th. This is
we
his
had-
7th season.
In his
We
5th.
had him 5
traded him to
years, and we
Washington.
traded him. Oh
This
yeah,
is
okay.
his 6th year.
Yeah,
Where
it's
did
his
where,
6th year?
where did they teach math up in Wisconsin and Michigan like that? 5 to 7. There's no 6.
There is no 6.
Come
6, 6.
on.
There is no. It's 999 all the way down the road.
No, we're not going to that again.
Yes. Anyway, you're messing with my point here now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Amos is in his 5th year, along with the other 2 guys they signed. He's 25 years old, so he's just hitting his stride. He hasn't hit his peak yet. He's still getting there, and he's getting better. You've seen him get better.
Yep.
Like your point is the other difference is He's the established veteran in the secondary, playing around a bunch of young guys that are inexperienced and having to lead that group, and his numbers and production are better than when he was playing in a veteran secondary where he was just one of the guys. And actually the head guy back there was the young player he was playing next to in Eddie Jackson, and he had Fuller, who was a veteran, and other guys. So much more impressive. I don't know how you can argue that anymore.
Amos literally was all over the place, and he almost had an interception. He dropped one. I mean, come on. And plus, didn't I bring this narrative up from week 1? How many interceptions did Mitch almost have if it wasn't for Kevin King dropping one, if it wasn't for
they dropped a few
Savage?
Too.
There was 3
but
or 4 of them.
He did look good overall. Like,
I mean,
overall,
he
looked
better,
good.
but there was the unbalanced throws. He was getting pressure on him, and he was literally hurrying throws. And a lot of those yards came at garbage time, folks. Those last 2 drives
I mean just
in the game.
I just mean as far as his mechanics and playing within the
still
system.
Rough.
Better than they have been in that stretch. This last 4 weeks, he has improved greatly, and he's running the ball. I'm just saying, like, compared to the
barely
garbage,
ran today. He had 2 runs.
That's it. They were good runs. They should have. Those were the only time they called him, though, and he did his job.
No, actually, the read option, he has plenty of chances to take those runs, and he had a couple lanes wide open, didn't take them. Dude, he had chances to take the runs. The fact is, I think Martinez scared him into not taking those runs. We talked about this earlier. Pettin played this man zone type of coverage through the first and the third quarter, and literally he would leave Martinez looking like he's in coverage, but sitting there as like a deep spy. And the next thing you know, as soon as Mitch left the pocket, Martinez was on him. Didn't have a lot of production there, but compared to how many times did he run? 10? Last week? He ran for 10 times last week in his win over Dallas. Yeah, this week he only had 2 runs, dude. 8 runs is a significant decrease, especially if that's a big part of his game now.
Yeah. And you know what else? You know what I liked a lot? The secondary and aggressive play calling.
Yeah,
they
Pettin let the dogs loose today.
They played a lot. Did you not notice how much man press they were playing, or like just zero blitz or zero blitz looks, or like single high safety where the safety actually rolled up and took, so there was like no help, and they were just a lot more aggressive. And you know what? I'm starting to wonder if Kenny Clark was the reason they were playing soft, because he wasn't getting the push and being productive, but he was still playing. He was better than the replacement that they would play in his position. So they were trying to help him because they were trying to give the edge guys a little more time to get there by playing softer zone, because you're picking them up on that. So then that gives the edge guys just a second or so longer, because there is no, because without Kenny getting pressure up the middle, even as they're coming up the edge, it gives the quarterback a step up into the pocket. Well, then those guys are good at adjusting and coming back on the inside of the tackles and attacking
especially
the quarterback.
Preston. Preston's really good at spinning back in.
But if you're playing man and you step up, there's usually a window where you can lead your receiver or whatever if you want to throw into a tight window. If you're playing zone, you have to kind of wait as you're stepping up, because as you're stepping up, everybody's looking at you. So they start to adjust so it takes that extra little second to give those rushers a chance to come inside the tackles. When you got Kenny Clark playing this way, you can play man because there's nowhere to step up. You step up, you're stepping into Kenny Clark. You can't go left or right because those guys will shuck and tackle you. You're stuck in the pocket at that point, and just you're hoping somebody's getting just totally different defense with Kenny Clark being the disruptor in the middle, with the guys still doing their job on the edge. And there's a guy you wanted to mention. I'll let you mention him.
Who, Eldon Jenkins?
No, on the defensive side.
Oh, there's a couple of them actually.
This young player kind of like Elton.
There's two young players. that I would love. Actually, there's three. There's three unsung heroes I'd like to add today. Um, that I would love to add on defensive highlights on this roster. One, Rashawn Gary, folks. That kid got some playing time. Tell you what, three total tackles, tackle for loss, and a sack. And that's in limited snaps. So tell the haters, please be quiet. And Jay and I have talked about this, and I've asked him 1,000 times on this, on live to him. I'm just saying, there's a Gary, I think, is going to get hot with more snaps down the stretch. I really do.
Very limited, and he was productive as hell, man.
But that's what I'm saying. And then think if they start using him in the playoffs more and just unleashing the dogs. Ham, Zadarius, Preston, and Kenny Clark all in the same
They were all
third
three
down
on the
best
field.
rush.
Preston he was playing opposite on the edge of Preston, and they had Zadarius lined up at one of the two down linemen. And
He was roaming
played,
too.
Yeah, and he even played nose tackle a couple times, and they had Kenny Clark out on the edge on either side to help out the edge rushers. And Zadarius just it's crazy how they're playing defense now that Kenny's healthy, and they're using Zadarius as this defensive lineman joker. He reminds me the defensive front version of, this is going to be big shoes, but he's earning it at this point, man. He's freaking awesome. He is, I think, this guy, to me, just hasn't had the career yet, but he's only 25. But this is what he reminds me of with his leadership, his ability to play all over the front seven, and he's just productive, and this defense seems to go as he goes. Zadarius Smith reminds me so much of the front seven version of Charles Woodson for this
Yes,
defense.
he is. He's emotional. He's physical. I mean, if you get a big old play right in the start of the game, him and Kenny Clark both had a big play in the running game in tackles for loss. Literally right out the start of the bat, Zadarius and Kenny came right off. Bam. Kenny had a big tackle on Cohen to start off the game, and then freaking Zadarius had one on Montgomery for 2-yard loss. Those set the tone for the game right there, because that's what wins the line of scrimmage. If you can get off on those first couple of plays, the defense just rides with you.
Oh, and then playing that man coverage, did you not see Jair peacocking and back to himself, PBUs and tackles and coming in and busting through? Like, I believe
He was giving up some catches towards the end though to
a little
to
bit, but
Robertson.
again they were playing some more zone there again though towards the end and blitzing and playing a little more soft coverage. When he was manned up, I mean, he even on man coverage, they threw that little bubble screen, and it was almost the exact kind of play he did against the Vikings on when he blew up Thielen and Diggs on the same play. He blew up the blocker and knocks the blocker almost back into the receiver that's back behind the line of scrimmage, but he makes the tackle. The guy missed, kind of made his blocker miss as he's falling back, and you thought, oh, Christ, he's going to miss him, and he nailed him right in the hips, took him down, spun him down for a tackle for loss. He came from back, and they were playing zone coverage on that play. I'm just saying, like, they are all playing more aggressive, and he played more aggressive. His attitude felt different today. It just did than I've seen him.
Well,
he flashed on the screen several times to me where I haven't noticed him good or bad at all. But the Jair that we know and love does this. He flashes on your screen a couple times every game, and you're constantly noticing him. The fact that we don't talk about him, even though it's not negative, is not the Jair we all know and love. I'm just saying that,
we rabbit holed on that a little bit. I want to get back to my other two unsung heroes that after. Oh no, you're good, buddy. Believe me, I know it's addictive because Jair is an awesome subject. But second one, got to give big man some props. The reason plays like this he's why I got the extension. Dean Lowry steps in front of a freaking midged pass, tips it up to himself, bobbles it, and runs with it 20 yards. Props to you, big man. Dean Lowry on tape every week, you're always seeing some sort of big popping run hit, and the thing is, he's not even fully developed yet. I feel like, he's in his fourth year, but I feel like he didn't become a starter till this year. I don't think Lowry is even anywhere close to his peak, and I feel like he's going to get even better. Not saying this season, but in future seasons. I think even if we pick up another top defensive tackle in the draft, if he's there,